Broadcasting from Millvale Studios, you are listening to Funny Money on the River's Edge Network. I'm your host, Tom Henry, and with us tonight is a guest host, a dear friend of mine, Josh Berkowitz.
Wow, thank you so much for having me.
It's great that you came.
It's an honor to be here, really.
And as always, our producer, James Kerwin.
James.
All right, so I wanted to, first of all, mention that you are my friend who introduced me to the idea of weighing return on invested capital against price to earnings. Yeah. Now, I know this sounds like kind of nerdy stuff that we're talking about, but it's actually really good. I found that to be a really good, effective way of quickly looking at companies and determining whether they were good value or not.
Yeah, I think usually it works. Sometimes it breaks down.
Yeah,
and I've been looking at some other more basic metrics lately that I think are a little bit more reliable.
There are times when it's not. It doesn't reflect the whole picture, But that's why I like to look at some other things too.
Yeah.
But I find that in and of itself is a good way to look at companies very quickly to determine if they're value or not. If you want to go forward with looking at them more or not,
I would agree. I think it's pretty solid.
There's too many companies in this universe, for us to analyze all of them. Right,
course,
so
of course.
like Kramer kind of claims he seems like he knows every company, but even he doesn't. So you have to do some weeding out, and I think that's a really good tool for that.
Okay,
gives you a nice place to start.
I'm into weeding. So
I agree.
It's cool.
So tonight we're going to talk about the pizza industry.
All right, I like pizza.
And
very near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, me
Delivered
too.
pizza for a couple years.
Oh yeah, oh nice.
Foxes,
nice.
Foxes.
I like Foxes.
Yeah.
We had. I'm from Aspinwall, and our Fox's Pizza closed just last year. Yeah, it was very disappointing. But we're going to talk about pizza, and there's just two pizza companies we're going to discuss, and those are Domino's and Papa John's. The other third big one, of course, is Pizza Hut. But Pizza Hut is part of a large conglomerate restaurant conglomerate called Yum.
Right? I actually had that in my high school stock thing.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Nice.
We bought Yum.
Was it good? I mean,
it did okay.
Well?
Yeah. For the 8 weeks that we tracked it, it did okay. Yeah.
It's pretty solid.
It's a solid
They do a lot of
company,
business in China now, and that's been really good for them. Also, India is really good for them too. They love KFC.
Well, they can't eat beef.
Oh,
yeah, they gotta go elsewhere.
Wow, good point. I didn't even think about that. All right, so the first one I want to talk about is Domino's. That's kind of the elephant in the room of the pizza business.
Is it? Okay.
It's the biggest one.
Yeah.
But before any of that, I want to just tell you a little bit about pizza itself, because I didn't know this and I thought it was fascinating. All right, the first pizza delivery occurred that we know of on record occurred in 1889, and it was to King Umberto and Queen Margherita.
That is a name.
Yeah, it is, and that was in Naples, Italy, and now Queen Margherita was visiting. Okay, so King Umberto wanted to show off, how the cooking of Naples.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what he did is he got the famous chef from Naples, who is named Raffaele Esposito. He's actually a famous pizza chef, specifically. They call him a
Not just any
pizziola.
chef.
Right. And he delivered 3 pizzas
Nice.
to the king and the queen.
Well, what size do you think they were?
Pretty fun.
I know, right? Are they 16
awesome.
slices? How big are the king and the queen?
Yeah.
Indeed.
So that was the first recorded pizza delivery. Now, I'm going to go back a little further even and tell you about the term pizza. The term pizza came up much before that, in 997 AD. there's a Latin text from the southern Italian town of Gaeta, Gaeta, and it states that, and so we're going back a long way when they spoke Latin in Italy. In this document states that a tenant of a certain property is to give the bishop of Gaeta. Maybe this is someone who couldn't afford it or something. I don't know. Give the bishop of Gaeta 12 pizzas every Christmas and another 12 every Easter. Dude, and that was the rent.
Dude, like the za, like that's
yeah.
That seems like a very college thing to do. Like I'll take my payments in pizza, please.
Right. Yeah. But a bishop eating, and it's like all on one day. You want 12 pizzas?
Yeah,
like man, you're
and that was probably before they could preserve it too. Like, what are you gonna do with all that?
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, cold pizza's fantastic. Like, I do like cold pizza. I know a lot of people shun that practice, but
I'm into the warm pizza.
I don't
know. But like my siblings kind of like cold pizza, but
I mean, it's not ideal. But whenever I'm too lazy to heat it up,
yeah, that's when it comes.
Some morning I'm just like, it's fine.
But come on, man. I mean, we have microwaves. How lazy you have to be?
Pretty lazy. Admittedly, pretty lazy.
All right. So this, the tenants paid their rent in pizza of this one property, and that's sort of weird, but that was or what they called pizza, which we don't even know. Pizza might have been, a loaf of bread. I don't know.
I was just relating to sort of a barter. More of a barter economy where you would maybe
totally
trade pizza for pretty much anything,
right?
That you wanted. I don't know.
Totally.
That's sort of.
I can tell you one thing about the Romans. By that time, 997, were defunct essentially. In the way that the coinage from that era was kind of spoiled by adding different things into it. Like they would mix copper in with the gold in order to cheapen it, and make more. And, so nobody trusted the currency. It was gold coins supposedly, but it was like, they mixed all kinds of other metals in there to try and get away with passing off a gold coin.
Right.
Yeah.
But pizza's pizza. Can't fake pizza.
Right. You can't fake pizza, right. The bishop's going to eat 12 pizzas.
he's going to love every minute of it.
Right. I hope he was sharing. At any rate, okay, so pizza itself, though, may have evolved from even before that. Okay, because the ancient Greeks had a practice of covering their breads with oils, herbs, and cheese. So, that might have been like the beginning of it, because the Greek culture actually came over to Italy really early on, because the Romans conquered Greece, and they took a lot of Greeks back to be servants. So a lot of the culture from Greece was imparted to the Italians at that time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right.
So, you like the use of the word imparted?
Yes.
I thought you did. I saw your eyebrows raised when I said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more where that comes from.
Cheese, I would say cheese just seems natural to put on pizza. I mean, what could be more natural?
Or to put on bread.
Yeah.
I mean,
just like one of those things.
It's super good.
Go together.
Yeah, I know. It's simple. And it's
peas
good.
and carrots.
So,
of course.
So, okay. Pizza may have come from there in the 18th and early 19th century. All right, now this is, obviously we're jumping forward in the time. So we're talking about, the 1700s and the early 1800s. Flatbread in Italy, now this is getting closer to pizza, was often topped with garlic, salt, cheese, basil, and lard. I'm like, could you hold the lard, please?
It sounds like a white pizza. Like that's like kind of where it probably began. Yeah, like the
right, because it didn't have it. And now that's the critical thing. What about the tomatoes?
Where did they come from? Yeah.
the tomatoes, it's really uncertain when they came into play, but they're obviously a huge part of the pizza. The tomatoes, tomato sauce. And so when Raffaele Esposito delivered the pizzas to King Umberto and Queen Margherita, and he had 3, the Queen strongly preferred one of the pizzas. And that was the pizza that was swathed in the colors of the Italian flag.
Okay.
Wow.
If you don't know,
So it's like trivia time. What
Yeah.
are the colors of the Italian
do you,
flag?
do you
I
know
know.
the Italian? All right, what is it?
Green, red, and white, I believe.
That is correct.
That'll
Is
do
that
it.
correct?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
it
right.
is.
All right.
All right, and so the green was basil, and the red was the tomato sauce, and the white was the mozzarella.
Okay.
Right, so that style of pizza today is still known as margarita pizza
Ah,
for Queen
okay.
Margherita,
Right.
makes sense.
who tasted it and loved it.
That's just normal pizza, basically.
Has
Well,
nothing to do with the
is
drink
that-
of the same name.
No,
No.
I swear, you
Am I
most
missing?
pizza places don't have this, but
Okay.
if you go into like an Italian restaurant that's kind of sophisticated, offers pizza, they might offer margarita pizza on the menu.
But what's the
Have you ever
difference
seen
between
that?
that?
Margarita pizza?
Yeah.
I've heard the term. I've never. I always assumed it was something with like
Yeah,
again like limes or like chicken
Right,
or
I know,
something.
I-
Maybe like nothing. Not like just
maybe the
pizza.
Queen loved tequila.
Yeah,
also.
I guess.
I don't know where
Poor woman.
the actual margarita drink came from, but
No, she's a smart woman.
maybe yeah, right? Of
course.
She was drinking tequila and eating lots
Eating
of
pizza. That's the life.
I can roll with that.
Yeah.
I did for 4 years. So, okay. So now in the U.S. Now, all right. So we're talking about the origins in Italy. In the U.S., pizza came in the late 19th century, along with the Italian immigrants. It's like
Right.
hold the immigrants, please. I'll take the pizza. No, I'm just kidding. I love Italians. But it didn't really gain traction here in the U.S. At that time. It was really relegated to like Italian sections of a city, to the Italian community specifically. But during World War II, a lot of Americans were sent, as soldiers into Italy. There was the Italian campaign. That was a big deal. We invaded Italy, and so a lot of the soldiers were stationed over there for a while.
Yeah.
And they got exposed to pizza over there. And
Was Hemingway exposed to
they
pizza there,
loved it.
do you think?
Hemingway, was he a World War II guy? Or was he World
I
War
think he was
One
World
guy?
War One.
I kind of
Still
think,
might have been in Italy though. I mean, they were on.
Yeah, they were right. It was basically the same
He learned everything he needed.
enemies we were fighting against, except Japan wasn't in World War One, right?
Yeah,
How
I
did
think they kind of like late to the party.
That could well be. I could see Hemingway having some pizza, but he would have it
With
with,
his
the
absinthe.
anchovies on it.
Yeah.
Extra salty.
Right. So.
Right.
But these soldiers coming back from World War II had a taste for pizza, and so then the Italian communities started selling pizza into the general population, and it was working. So then we go a little forward in time to 1960. All right. And this is now we're getting to Domino's Pizza itself.
Perfect.
All right. In 1960, Tom Monahan. All right. Now, Tom Monahan has an interesting background. He was an orphan raised in Detroit. It's like kind of a rough and tumble
Yeah.
sort of background.
In a rough and tumble city, like
Right, right.
He's street smart, I'm sure.
Yeah. And he has a brother who was also obviously an orphan. So in 1960, Tom Monahan and his brother James bought Dominick's. It's D-O-M-I and then capital N-I-C-K-S,
Okay.
apostrophe S. So
Like that.
I know, I kind of like that too. And they wanted to keep that name, but the owner wouldn't let them. He wouldn't let them use it for any other one than the original location.
Okay.
All right. It was a small pizza store in Ypsilanti, Michigan, near Eastern Michigan University. And that's actually just north of Detroit, not far.
Wow.
The deal was secured by a $500 down payment. And then the brothers borrowed $900 to pay for the store. Okay, the brothers, they planned to split the work hours evenly, but James didn't want to quit his job as a full-time postman to keep up with the demands of the new business. That sounds familiar to me.
Wow.
Who is like that? I can think of one person in this
may know
A
him.
lot of people.
River's Edge network.
It's not just that. It's other people too.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
no
what
doubt.
happens.
There's a lot of reasons, right? So within 8 months, James traded his half of the business to Tom
Wow.
for the Volkswagen Beetle they used for deliveries.
It's a bad move.
I bet he regrets that.
Horrible.
I know. But maybe his brother's cool to him. Who knows?
Man.
So that was in 1960.
How was the competition? Was there any competition going on?
At that time,
Were
it
they
was
just-
really mild. It was mostly like
Okay.
local, like Italian restaurants.
Yeah.
And what an interesting thing that Tom Monahan said. Oh, we all know Domino's is like delivery pizza. Really, that's
Yeah.
the basis for it. No one goes
Okay,
to
that's-
Domino's and eats
Eats in,
dinner.
Great
Really,
yeah.
niche.
So, but he was saying that at that time in the 60s, the pizza delivery business existed, but it was only like Italian restaurants that would deliver it for a little amount of time until they got enough money or felt confident that the restaurant could handle it on its own, and then they cut deliveries. But so, which is kind of weird. So anyway, they didn't acknowledge delivery as a legitimate option for the whole business. The business was a restaurant, and delivery was like a little side thing that they would sometimes do.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't all right. But he decided, hey, I'm gonna just focus on delivery.
Yeah.
All right, and it turned out to be
Wow.
an awesome idea. So within 8 months, yeah, we told you about that. James got out. All right, now by 1965, Tom had purchased 2 additional pizzerias. All right, and this is kind of interesting. All right, he wanted the stores to share the same branding, which was Dom and Nick's, but the original owner forbade him from using that, which we talked about before. But one day, an employee returned from delivery and suggested the name Domino's. He loved it immediately, and he renamed the business to Domino's Pizza. Okay, the company logo originally had 3 dots. I mean, it still has 3 dots today, but they put the 3 dots on there to represent the 3 restaurants.
Oh, the 3 original ones.
Yeah, the 3
Right, okay.
original, or not, I shouldn't say restaurants, not appropriate, the 3 locations. So
Coolio.
then he intended to add a new dot with each store they added.
You might
right?
need more
But
Domino's.
after they had 3, the business succeeded so much that it became ridiculous because they added so many stores. So that idea quickly faded with the rapid growth. The focus on delivery was what I think. When I look at it, I think that's the factor in their success. You could say, "Oh, the pizza's good," but no, it isn't.
It's all right.
I think that was that the whole 30 minutes or less thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it. That's a extrapolation of the original basis of the company by focusing on delivery again. Right?
Yeah, my mom worked for them back in college, and she'd say,
Oh, yeah?
you get back to the store, and the chef would hand you the pizza and be like, you got 5 minutes, like, go.
See, like,
It would cause car accidents and all
course.
sorts of
That's
stuff.
why they dropped
Yeah,
that.
that's why they dropped it.
yeah, because of the
It's a bad
danger.
idea.
It was too risky. That's ridiculous.
Should have kept that. Come on.
I know. I like it as a customer.
Accidents are so great.
Definitely like that. And you know what? The pizzas, I'm being too harsh on it. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
Okay.
Is there bad
it's
pizza,
okay.
though?
It's acceptable.
I get sick of it after like having it too much though, for some reason.
That's true, like anything. Though.
Yeah, I guess it's true of anything. There's some things that are harder to get sick of than that, though.
Plus, if you're really stoned, you never get sick.
No,
you
you never get
shall.
sick of any food.
I could eat this shit all day. And never get sick of it.
In 1998, he's been running the company for 38 years at this point. Monahan sold 93% of the company, keeping 7% for himself, to Bain Capital. I don't know if you remember.
What year was this?
But it was 1998. So Bain Capital was run by, the guy who signed the deal for Bain Capital was Mitt Romney.
Of
That's a good deal.
Of
Political
former presidential candidate fame. Right. Interesting.
They
But
said he only owned sweatshops. Is that not true?
do you consider Domino's a sweatshop?
I do.
I'm sure it's rather warm.
Well,
no
then-
question about it.
Then maybe it fits
Fits
right
perfectly
in.
into his little model.
So, Bain bought Domino's for $1.1 billion, and Monahan retired at that point.
Wow.
Okay, then the company went public in 2004. All right, now some of the interesting things about this deal are that, and it's notable that in order to get the 1.1 billion, Bain only put up 385 million, and borrowed the rest. So 715 million was borrowed. So that's important. So it's a highly leveraged buyout. Okay, so the company went public with this debt from the leveraged buyout, right? So let's look at the numbers now behind Domino's Pizza as it stands. By the way, Domino's is the biggest pizza chain in the world.
Well, yeah, they went to lengths. Probably 2 or 3 years ago, they took the pizza out of their name and it just was Domino's because they started having like wings and pasta and all that
Right,
stuff.
right. They added.
There was a big to do about that. I remember.
Yeah.
But here's the question. I mean, if the pizza really is so bad, how did they...
It's not that bad. It's
I
not,
don't know. Maybe it,
but
I think, it
I
is
think the
pretty,
delivery,
it's okay.
focusing on
Okay,
the
yeah.
service, we'll get it to you fast. The delivery thing was really good.
It might not be gourmet, but you're hungry now. So
Yeah,
Capitalizing on people's laziness is a good
yeah.
yeah, it is.
good plan.
Right, exactly. We're hungry now. I want it now. So the PE is 40.4.
It's high.
Which, yeah, I agree.
right.
The average PE for this type of business is 24, so that's high. They have a 1% dividend. The return on invested capital, 1 year return on invested capital, is 56.26%.
It's pretty high.
Very good. Excellent. If you look at it, it's been good for a long time. Really good. Here, now, so with those numbers, just up to this point, I would consider it a buy. Here's the problem, okay? And it's got to do with the leverage buyout. All right, but it's also more than that too. They have they have negative equity. Okay, not only is it negative, but it's a lot negative.
Is that true?
It's negative by
Okay.
by like $1.9 billion. All right.
So the bank owns a large piece of this business.
I
Is that what
consider
you're
that
telling
to
me?
be the case.
That's not
Yes.
good.
When a company has negative equity, that means that the liabilities on the company's balance sheet are worth more on the balance sheet than the assets. Right? That's always a bad situation. Now,
is.
Now it's bad to the tune of at least $1 billion.
oh right, yeah. So it's quite bad, and that can be sometimes you can overlook that because sometimes the assets and the liabilities are misvalued on the balance sheet, and that the assets should be worth a lot more.
Is that true?
It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Because on a balance sheet, they have to follow these rigorous accounting guidelines. Usually, the assets are recorded at cost and not written up. So, sometimes the assets can actually be worth a lot more than their book value. They call that book value, the value of the asset on the balance sheet. And so so this company has negative equity. The liabilities are worth more. Now, why? Why is that? Well, it's because they have $314 million in cash, which is actually a lot for a pizza company.
It's not bad.
But they have $2.2 billion in debt,
Okay.
which is way too much. They have no equity. So to me, that's a huge setback. Huge.
It's pretty bad.
In fact, I have a rule for myself that I don't buy companies with negative equity. Now, I'm not saying that some of them can't be good buys, but just that I don't do it because it's puts the company at very high risk of going under in a downturn.
Playing with fire there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What if rates go up a whole bunch? That's another way to go under, because then they would have to pay higher interest on the debt that they have, and also
Especially if it's a sizable portion to begin with.
Right, and they might not be able to roll it over. A bank might say, "Hey, you know what? I don't think your earnings is worth the loan."
Right.
So it's a dangerous situation, but this does sometimes happen when a private equity company owns like the majority of the shares, because they'll pay themselves. They pay have the company pay a dividend, and then they get most of the dividend themselves, and they can use it for whatever purpose they want. So now, all right, here's another good thing. So other than the debt situation, the company already looks good. Here's another good thing, that the growth for 2016, the anticipated growth is actually 19.9%. Last year it was 19%. So the company, the earnings growth is great. Excellent.
Is that good?
Yeah,
I guess
very
it
good.
is, yeah.
That kind of.
Pretty solid.
In fact, if you look at their long-term growth, it's 16%, which is really outstanding. So it's a great company at the core. There is a really strong engine, an earnings engine there. People love the pizza. They keep ordering it. The problem is the debt situation.
What about the it's trading also at an all-time high.
It is trading at a high.
It's like, well, you could potentially buy it, and maybe if you get lucky, you'll probably make money, but
I can tell you some crazy
I don't
things.
know. I mean, I don't like it.
For
my money, I don't like
I
it.
agree with you.
It's too expensive.
But you look at the company through the years, and you'll see that, today, right now, the price is $150.35. In 2009, it was less than $6. So
in 10 years, that's
can you imagine?
that's
That's
if you
insane.
had bought a
of
bunch of it,
turnaround.
then
Yeah.
you would be sitting pretty.
That's true.
And it's been growing. The business has been doing well the whole time. But I have to say that $150 a share is too much for this company.
I agree.
that's
I
like
would not
ridiculous.
buy it.
But that's not to say that maybe you won't make money on it, but you're not buying on any fundamentals. It's just sort
Right,
of like,
you're buying on the
you're
greater
buying
feel.
on like whim, and
Right.
you hope that the growth can continue,
Right. But
which
you don't
is
know
not
that.
a certainty,
And I mean,
especially because it's a really competitive market.
the only
Really
way
competitive.
it is very competitive.
Yeah.
However, they continue to do well up to this day, which is really good. But, I would not buy a company that had strongly negative equity, meaning the liabilities are worth a lot more than the assets on the balance sheet, unless I'm convinced it's the next Apple. That'll be the only thing.
I don't
and
think I
this
would-
is
yeah.
not the next Apple.
I don't think I would jump into this company unless the stock price was maybe around 80.
Yeah.
I would need like a half off minimum.
I know, right?
I'm cheap.
Buy
man.
one,
That's
get
how
one
I
free.
feel.
I'm just cheap.
Well, if you
That's
go
just
back
how
to
it is,
2014, the stock was $70 a share.
Yeah.
So even in the last 2 years, it's
it's
compared to
gone-
the prior
it's
8,
more
that's,
than double.
That's a
It's
jump.
crazy.
Yeah.
But I've only learned through the hard way by buying things that are like priced
Yeah.
like I bought stuff priced like this, I lose.
Things that run up
No question.
that much,
Yeah.
you got to
Not
take a
wise.
real hard look at, to see if the
Not
growth
wise.
is going to
Yeah.
continue.
Look for a better deal.
Because the reason the price is that high is because people are expecting continued growth
But here's a
and
question.
no downturn. Because the company's dangerous.
If say somebody was hypothetically interested in Domino's, but you said I don't want to buy Domino's, but is there a sort of a play that might be related to Domino's that is a cheaper buy? I don't know. I haven't done the research.
You could buy options,
Or like a different type of company that play.
that
Like,
would right.
like Uber.
Right.
Or no, that
Uber
wouldn't
be
make
affected?
sense. No,
it's-
that wouldn't make
Domino's
sense.
would be so small
Right.
on the Uber radar that
No,
I
that
don't think it
doesn't
would
make
move
any-
the
no.
needle. But it
Craft. Could you? I mean, like.
Yes,
if you
you're right.
like,
A supplier
this
to
is what I-
Domino's.
This is what I mean. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That could be.
I don't
right.
know. Yeah, that could be I haven't looked. Maybe one of those companies is beaten down.
But with the company, right? I would look for a smaller company.
Yeah,
Because a company
definitely.
like Kraft, once again, that's not going to move the needle. But
Right.
But if it's a smaller company that just
That
makes
would be
the
better.
dough
Yeah.
for Domino's and that's
could be
it,
good.
that could be really good.
Especially if it's beaten down.
Yeah, especially
Price, which is doubtful probably, but whatever. If
All right.
it's-
So we're going to take a little break for promos, and
All
then
right.
we're going to come right back and talk about our next company, which is Papa John's.
Nice.
Very interesting.
Another
I like a Papa
excellent choice.
John.
I like the pizza there, actually.
Hey, we're taking a break?
Yeah, we're going to take
All
a
right,
break.
excellent.
Hey, this is Matt Geika, your host of Geik's Got Game, 8 a.m. every Friday here on the River's Edge. I'll take a peek behind the sports media curtain, zoom out for the big picture, and as always, obsess over the details of the sports, teams, and players we love or love to hate. It's Geik's Got Game every Friday at 8 a.m. on the River's Edge.
Hey folks, it's Mike Sasson. Just so you guys understand, if there's one thing I do better than anybody I know, it's talk about nothing for an hour. Want proof? Here's the proof. The Mike Sasson Show. It's going to be on from 10 a.m. to 11 every Tuesday starting July 19th. It's an hour that you'll never get back. Neither will I, so we'll have that in common. Here on the River's Edge, a new kind of radio.
Hi, I'm Mike Storer, host of the Awesome Cast, which you can hear right here on River's Edge Radio. We're talking tech, getting geeky every week with people from Pittsburgh in the industry. Go check us out, awesomecast.net, or listen to us right here on River's Edge Radio, Thursday mornings, 8 a.m. after Funny Money.
All right, we're back.
And we're going to talk about our next company now in the pizza business, and that is Papa John's. We only talk about public companies here. Obviously, there are a lot of great pizzerias that I could talk about that are not public, but we're talking about the public ones. And Papa John's, kind of like Domino's. I mean, I ordered it for a while, when I lived in Washington, and kind of got sick of it after a while.
It's sustenance only, really.
But I thought
Basic sustenance.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the same.
it had a little bit of it. It had different taste.
The sauce is different.
Yeah, and it was good. It's good. It's got something to it. There's
Right.
something there.
They give
the
it
X
dipping
factor.
sauce too, right?
They give you
Yes,
that
garlic
butter.
dipping
It's
sauce.
like, what is this shit? Is this even like
it's
is this
like-
synthetic?
Is it
It's like
real?
buttery
Synthetic.
heroin or something.
Right,
It's
yeah,
yeah.
fantastic.
Is it
You like it?
purely a
Okay.
chemical? Right. It makes the crust taste so much better.
It
when
does.
You put it in there.
It does. Smart.
It was smart, but
Do
so
they give you a pepper too, like or something?
Yeah, yeah.
They do,
Or
right?
like banana pepper or something
yeah.
like that.
Give the
Comes on
customer a
side.
little something extra.
yeah, that's
Here's
a
a
good,
pepper.
good feel, right?
Yes, it is.
And that's kind of like the feeling that I get when I read about this guy. Papa John.
Yeah.
Right.
Hospitable.
Papa John. Okay. Let me tell you about his background. Born in Jeffersonville, Indiana, John Schnatter graduated from Ball State University in 1983. I know Ball State only from like sporting
Right.
competitions. All right.
The stadium's named after Papa John.
Is it really?
Yeah, I believe.
The
Papa,
Papa
John
John
Stadium.
There's a Papa John Bowl. There's a Papa John
Is there really?
Bowl.
What's
Yeah. I don't
what's
know.
next for Papa
That's
John?
like where Pitt goes. The Papa, it's
John Bowl?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a very prestigious bowl.
the shittiest bowl possible?
What a bowl!
You want to go to pets.com.
Yeah. And they always look horrible too, which is almost impossible.
I know. How do
But
they
hey,
do that?
whatever.
They looked so bad last year. I hope this year's a better year for Pitt. Anyway,
Coach might be a crap.
we're
I don't know.
what do you think? The coach might not be that good.
He's all right.
We're
He might be. He's a good defensive mind, but all right, we're off subject.
yeah, I know.
Sorry.
We're
Sorry,
digressing. No, that's okay though.
I digress.
Because
Happens all
Pitt
the
is an
time.
interesting topic. But okay, so this guy Schnatter graduated from Ball State in 1983 and he majored in business of some sort. His father at the time co-owned Mick's Lounge, which was a bar in Jeffersonville, Indiana.
Sounds like a good spot.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I've never been to
bet.
Jeffersonville. I don't know.
Huh.
That sounds small to me. So John, affectionately known as Papa.
Yes.
At the whopping age of 20.
Yeah, right.
His
right.
girlfriend must really have loved him.
No. I don't know that he was known as Papa at that time.
yeah.
But all right, first of all, oh my gosh, I forgot to credit Wikipedia with, but I'm doing it now. All the information that I said on Domino's came from Wikipedia, the entire thing. And, right, it was like 3 different entries in Wikipedia. One was
deep.
Domino's Pizza, one was Tom Monahan, and one was just pizza in general.
Okay, all right.
All right, now, this, I have to say, the information that I have here on Papa John's also came from Wikipedia and the papajohns.com website.
So proud of their history.
Yes, they are. So, John, affectionately known as Papa, he knocked out a broom closet. This is true. Literally a broom closet in the back of Mick's Lounge. You know, the bar was struggling at the time. And
Wow.
so he thought of an idea that might help Mick's Lounge.
What year is this? Like,
This is 1983.
okay, not
so-
too long ago.
Yeah, at that time, the bar didn't serve food. You know, it was just a drinks bar.
Beer.
Yeah, so he was gonna do the food part of it. So they knocked out a broom closet, enlarged it, and in the back of the bar, and then he sold his 1971 Z28 Camaro to buy $1,600 worth of used pizza making equipment. And he started, you know, he bought the dough and all the ingredients, and he began making pizzas. He had no experience in making pizzas prior to this, but apparently he was good at it.
Kind of amazing, actually.
Yeah, so
Pull that shit out of your ass.
This has
right.
got hidden talent.
Man.
So he had this pizza equipment in a converted closet, and his pizzas, and he started selling pizzas to the customers at the bar.
Right?
And his pizzas were so popular that not even 1 year later, he was able to move into an adjoining, restaurant space.
It's cool.
So clearly,
Stepped up to like the
there
knocked
were-
out a bathroom or something, perhaps. Like,
he had something good going on there. But yeah, right.
Was he giving away the butter garlic sauce at that time?
I don't know the answer to that.
Because that seems like it would
That
be
could be
almost
a good-
enough.
that's the selling point. Yeah,
to,
like,
it
you
is
just sell the
already added
sauce.
bar guy. Just,
Oh my
I
gosh.
want that. Give me the butter.
That would be a great idea.
Yeah. Slurp it down.
No. He majored in some business things. So he was kind of business minded from the get go. To talk about now, this is kind of interesting. In 2009. All right, so we're going way forward in time to fairly recently. in 2009, Papa John offered, and it's the same. Papa John, when I say that, it's the same guy on the commercials. That's actually him.
It's him.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is him.
That's kind of interesting.
And he loves to be on TV, apparently.
I'm
But
fine.
Catching footballs and whatnot.
Yeah.
so he wanted to get back his 1971 Z28 Camaro. All right.
The Camaro or
The
like
specific
not
one.
like just
He wanted that one.
that one.
That one, not just a
A Z,
1971
yeah.
Z28 Camaro. He wanted that one. And he offered to the general public a $250,000 reward to anyone who could find it.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay? Now, it turned out that he was the one who found it. So he didn't have to give that to somebody else, but he did. He did. He actually paid the $250,000
Wow.
to the family of the people who he originally sold it to. It was still in
They
their
still had
family.
it.
and for that car that he sold for $1,600, you know.
Yeah.
So that's pretty.
probably like little Joey's beater just like turned a nice profit there.
Actually, I shouldn't say that he sold it for $1,600 because what I read was that he bought $1,600 worth of pizza equipment, but that was not the full proceeds of the sale.
Oh,
So it
okay.
was something more than that. But
Still a nice return on your money. there.
right,
Not bad.
I'm sure. If you were that family, you'd be pretty psyched. So yeah, he contacted that family, and in celebration, when he found it, Papa John's offered a free pizza to anyone who had a Camaro.
Dude, this dude just loves to party.
That's really cool.
I know. It's pretty good. Pretty cool
That
guy.
is.
The original Camaro today is on display at the company's headquarters in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, this is another weird thing. Okay, last year, like 1 year ago, August 2015, the car got into an auto show because of its history,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
as the
The Papa
founding
John's
of-
car.
Right. And the auto show was in Detroit, of all places. Of course, it's
Almost makes a little sense.
home for auto show, right? So, but also in Detroit, the car was stolen,
Of course it was.
which is kind of hilarious. And it was recovered 2 days later. I mean, he aged about 10 years in those 2 days. But the car had minimal damage.
Is it inside job?
It
do
was
you think?
recovered in Detroit.
The Domino's people probably stole it. That's probably what it was. They're trying to get back at him there.
I have no idea.
Those
I
Camaros, they're in
assume-
demand.
They did not catch who the
High
thief,
demand.
because it was not mentioned in anything
What do
that
you
I
think
read.
of his commitment to the Camaro? Are you in favor of that or what?
A Camaro, a Chevy
like Camaro?
Camaro.
Do you like it?
My brother was interested in getting the Camaro one time.
All right.
But no, I think I generally think the vibe of the Camaro is kind of like a Thunderbird vibe.
Yes.
Like it's like a little like 70s tacky. But
Yeah, it's cool though.
but I kind of like that too. I kind of like
it is
70s
kind of
tacky.
cool, right?
Yeah. You know what
It's
I mean?
like Dazed and Confused.
right.
What's
right.
Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah, that's it.
That's who
Yes.
I think of.
Yes. Yeah.
Of course.
It's pretty sweet. It's kind of I even like music that's like imitation 70s music. Not the
right.
real deal, but I like the imitation kind.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely some stylistic
All right.
props for that. So yeah, I can't rag on a Camaro.
That's cool.
All right, so today, the company is the third largest pizza chain in the world, with over 4,700 locations in 38 different countries, which is pretty intense.
Good for him.
Yeah, I know. Very good for him.
Yeah.
And a relatively young company too, all things considered.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we talk about companies, on a regular basis that were founded in the 1800s.
Yeah, this dude's
Yeah.
like coming out of like 1980 something.
Right, and making huge, tremendous progress. So also notable that they were the first to make online ordering available. That was in
That is a big thing.
January 2002. Now more than 50% of their ordering
smart.
occurs online.
Yeah, I won't lie to you. If I don't
That is
have to
smart.
call people, I don't.
I like it, yeah.
just,
You have the
kinda
app,
bang
right?
it out.
I
and-
do.
Yeah,
They
have an app.
Yeah, Taco
There's
Bell
no
has
Papa
that.
John's around here hardly.
No.
There's
don't
one
know.
in there's one like near where Richard's place is. All right, now we're getting now we're talking stuff you're not.
Who's
gonna
Richard?
understand. Yeah, who's this dude, Richard? All right, now but no, there isn't there one on what do you
Bomb
call it?
Boulevard?
Bomb Boulevard.
I think there's one, yeah.
Yeah, I think there is.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Weird.
But it's like
Doesn't do well
one.
here or what?
I think there's probably just too many other.
Competition.
There's a lot of
Restaurants.
competition.
Of course.
I mean, you can order pizza from
And especially-
at least 10
A lot
different
of
places
yeah,
wherever you
And very
are.
good pizza.
And exactly, like I think
Yeah.
the local places kind of like tend to run the roost in the pizza game.
Yeah. I mean-
quality wise.
Yeah.
I love
Right.
Casa del Sol is my
very
favorite
good.
in Aspinwall.
In fact, I'm
my favorite
craving
in the
that
city.
right now, just talking about all this.
You're so lucky to. I mean, one of the things about being in Squirrel Hill is you have Minios.
We do.
That is so good.
Best pizza in the world, probably.
I think it's my favorite pizza
Ever?
in. Yeah, it's actually my favorite
Ever?
pizza ever.
Ever?
Probably.
Yeah.
Do you have one, James?
My favorite's probably when I was at IUP. There was Romeo's, and the cool thing about Romeo's is it was open till like Christ knows when in the evening. So like it'd be like 2:30, we would all be drunk off
Yeah,
our
that's
asses.
awesome.
Like you
Right.
know what we need right now? Some pizza. And my one friend would like whip out his wallet and be like, "Just go get it. Just you get
Yeah.
it, and I'll pay for it." I'm like, "All right, I can do that." It was like 2
Which
blocks
place?
away. It's called Romeo's. It was right on
Where is it?
Indiana.
IUP.
Yeah,
okay.
Pennsylvania, Indiana.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
so too far away from us.
yeah.
But-
a little
but-
outside the delivery radius.
Yeah. I remember, but that's awesome. Be open at 2:30.
Oh yeah, 'cause especially in a college town like that,
my
right
gosh,
off
yeah.
campus, they made a
You
killing.
got to. You got to stay
Yeah,
open.
I
Right.
I would be coming home from like some place and I'd just see the delivery cars still going at like
course.
12:30. I'm like, okay.
That's great.
Being a delivery driver is not as good in college too. It's a fun job.
Oh yeah, especially
Yeah,
because
that-
it's like
you're gonna
everything's
get-
from
You're,
everything's
you're
from
gonna get some
campus.
free
You
stuff.
are. You're gonna get.
Yeah.
People will smoke you out a lot.
Yeah, that's what
yeah.
I've heard. That's what I've heard. Like, here, take
Yeah.
a beer, but don't drink it on your way
yeah,
home.
yeah.
Like,
They give
I did that once. I gave a guy
do.
like I had like 3 beers left. I'm like, here, you can have these. I don't have any money for a tip. He's like, this is better. I'm like, all right, cool.
That's great.
Smoke you out, man.
Yeah, that's good.
Stoned for the rest of the shift. It's pretty good.
That's pretty awesome.
It is awesome.
So, Papa John's is great, and it's. I mean, the growth was fantastic, but now if you look at it, all right, we look at it in the financial terms, all right. We gotta look under the hood. The PE, price to earnings ratio, which is the price of the stock divided by the earnings of the company, is 32. All right, that's high.
Pretty high.
The industry norm, as I said before, is 24, so that's high.
Trading at an all-time high as well, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean-
Okay. Back in 2014, this stock was at $46. Now today it was at $75.81. So you can see that it's had a really nice run too. Not as nice as Domino's, but a very nice run. Yeah, Domino's has more than doubled, so this one is not quite as good. But holy cow, this outperformed the market. They've got a 1% dividend. All right, now this is good. They've got a return on invested capital of 25%, which is solid.
It is.
But in this case, it's below the PE, and we kind of use that as a bar to see, whether the company is too expensive or not.
Yeah.
The PE is 32. The ROIC, return on invested capital, is 25. So that's looks to me a little overpriced on that basis. Now here's another. Would you believe they also have negative equity? This is so weird.
Seems to be a trend here.
I rarely stumble on a company that has negative equity because most of them
two in one show.
are bankrupt, not operating.
Yeah.
But
Well, what happens if you own stock and the company goes bankrupt? Do you just get like bought out for whatever the?
no, it's a complicated negotiation, and it depends. You get. What they try and do is they, sell off the pieces of the company and
okay.
recover whatever they can. But the first people in line when a company goes bankrupt are the debt holders.
Okay, that makes sense.
The first proceeds of selling off the assets of the company go to pay off the debt.
Right.
So as a stockholder,
You're kind of at
after
the
all
bottom of the
that.
food chain
In this
there.
case, that would be the bank, right?
yes. So in this case, if they were to do that and they have negative equity,
Yes.
it
Stockholders
it
are
looks like
SOL.
stockholders will get
Yeah.
nothing.
Okay,
Right?
Yeah, that's
So it's a
about right.
huge risk
And,
for a company that has negative equity. It's a huge risk.
Get an apology card in the mail, maybe.
But
You're not going to step in. And
I will say that this company has equity that's a lot less negative than Domino's. Okay, they only have 30 million of negative equity, whereas
Pocket change.
wow, Domino's has like almost 2 billion, 1.9 billion of negative equity. So this company only has 30 million of negative equity, and they have 316 million in cash. So it's not nearly as risky, just on that basis.
But still risky in and of itself.
Still,
it seems
very
very
risky.
rich. It seems richly priced. I would
Also,
not. Yeah.
right? How can a company with negative equity have a PE that's above its ROIC? That's ridiculous to me. But here is a huge factor. Growth this year is expected to be 30%.
Damn.
30% earnings
good.
growth. Huge. Enormous. So that's why people are buying it.
Compelling.
Now, I love that growth number, but to me, it's not enough. That would be enough if the balance sheet were good. That would be enough to get me to buy this stock. Because the PE is not that much over the ROIC. It's 32 compared to 25, and if you have 30% growth,
That's pretty good.
well, that would shoot the PE right under the ROIC. So, but because the balance sheet is so weak,
Can't buy it.
can't buy it. Can't
Nah.
justify buying this.
I agree.
One thing I will say, and I kind of like this, is that Papa John himself, the guy in the commercials, is still the CEO, and he still owns 25% of the company.
He's not that old.
Right.
Put him at
he's-
what? Maybe 50?
Well, he graduated
less.
in 1983 from college.
Yeah, so he's... Yeah.
He's 54.
probably
I think
55.
I looked that up.
Yeah, that's not bad.
He's 54.
No, it's good that he's still with the company.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
He looks very youthful.
yeah, he does. He does.
He's got
Yeah.
a jovial way about him.
Right. It's a good workout, flipping pizzas.
He's pretty rich,
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
so that helps.
Yeah, he's super rich. He donated a lot of money. I think a lot to like Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
What a dude.
Philanthropy.
I like this guy.
Philanthropy.
guy.
I would buy the company purely because this guy's cool.
he does seem like a good guy.
But we're not buying it, are we?
No,
this company
no,
cannot. I'm not.
no.
I would not
Unfortunately,
touch it. What's it trading? The price of the stock?
$75.81.
Yeah,
I have to recommend against it
I can't buy it.
because of the balance sheet, which is the same reason why I recommend against Domino's. But I'd go further. I'd say I really recommend against Domino's.
Let's get 1 to 10. Domino's is a solid
I'm with you.
9 on the
Yeah,
do
yeah,
not
I
do
mean,
scale.
don't
With you
buy.
on both counts.
Right.
I think it's looking to lose money.
Well,
buying the top is looking to lose money to me. I don't know.
And I'm using your metrics to
Well,
analyze
that works
it.
too. If it works by both metrics, it's probably gonna be right. But
Right. I agree. I like to look for supporting evidence. Yeah. If you find that a company passes one test, well, then administer the next test to it and see if it passes that. You know, if a company fails one test, we'll then move on to another company. You know, but sometimes our company, you know, you could fail one of these tests. The one test that I think is the most important is price to earnings versus return on invested capital. You look
seems to
see-
work most of the time.
Right. You want to see the return on invested capital higher than the price to earnings, ideally, but close is okay. And then the other test is the balance sheet. You know, you want to make sure. I have a rule of thumb. I like to see a company that has less than that the debt to equity ratio is less than 65%.
Makes sense.
The debt divided by the equity is less than 65%.
Just out of curiosity, have you looked at Netflix stock recently?
I haven't recently.
Okay,
That's
me neither.
one that I used to look at a lot.
I haven't looked at it.
Years behind when I was really considering investing in it. But I never bought it.
I'm thinking that would be
I
kind
wish
of
I
a
had.
playoff. If you don't buy these companies because they're expensive, again, what can you buy that's related to the pizza business? And I think Netflix or
That works, yeah.
cable or what?
Oh,
people are at
right,
home
because
on their
HBO
apps.
if you're
something.
These are
eating
delivery-
pizza,
right?
you are likely also
Yes.
sitting
Yeah,
on.
it's like movie night or
What's
something.
the
You are.
most common scenario with eating pizza? I think
TV.
probably sitting around watching TV.
Yeah.
Or something.
Movies.
Yeah, that's a good thought. I like
But
that.
I've
I
not
like
looked at
that.
Netflix.
That's the kind of thinking that makes money.
Is it?
Thinking that other
I
people
don't know.
don't think. No, it's true. You want to think of some way to look at it that other people don't.
That could be.
So I like where you're going with that. So at any rate, so this company's got great growth. Domino's also has great growth, but see, I kind of feel like with Domino's, going back to Domino's, I feel like the private equity companies, Bain, the private equity company that had it, piled on too much debt.
Sounds bad to me.
Because the other thing is that they did in the past, were to issue these special dividends that were like really a lot of money. Like the one dividend was $13.50 for
Really?
each share you had.
Huh.
So in order to do that, they borrowed money, and now so they're saddled with all this
They gotta
debt.
pay that money
How's
back.
their
And that
rev?
money didn't go into the company; it went out.
Yeah,
So I don't like that.
I'm actually looking at Netflix now. I'm curious because I want to figure out a cheap way to get in here.
Yeah.
Call me.
But Netflix,
we go.
you got to look
Great.
at their main business too.
I'm looking at this chart right now. I just want to see kind of like what it's been up to.
Well, Netflix is NFLX, the symbol. But I have to share with you the symbols for these companies. Papa John's.
All right, Netflix is not a buy.
Yeah.
Also, looks very pricey.
that would be
Sorry.
my instinct on Netflix.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it, so
Could
I
be-
can't say for sure, but that
could
would be
be
my
dicey.
instinct. Because the market itself is pretty overvalued. I mean, it's
Yeah.
overvalued by historical standards.
Most stocks look pricey to me.
Right. So a company like that gets a lot of attention, like Netflix, I would think would probably also be overvalued. The symbol for Papa John's is PZZA. I like that one. For Domino's, it's DPZ. I guess it's like
Okay.
Domino's
Yeah.
pizza
Yeah.
versus just pizza.
Netflix
Yeah,
is
there's-
down from 130 to 90
Oh yeah.
in the last like 8 months.
That's odd because I just heard they signed a
But
big
is that
deal
enough?
with
But is that
Disney.
really enough of a discount to get
I
in?
did hear about that.
Would you buy it on that much of a discount? I don't think I would.
Well,
I think
I'd
I would
have
want
to
more.
look at the other metrics behind
I just
it.
want more of a discount.
Yeah, probably.
No, I'm so.
I-
I'm very basic these days.
I remember looking at it and seeing it and thinking it was way
Still
overvalued.
seems overvalued.
like 2
Could be
years
wrong
ago.
though.
And I was wrong in the sense that the stock went up after I didn't buy it.
So many stocks
felt
are
bad.
overvalued, like you said. The market is overvalued.
It is in general. Okay, so tonight, we gotta say, unfortunately, with the pizza industry right now, it's a no buy.
I agree with you.
Don't buy it. Stay away. And that's all the funny money we got.
All right, take care.
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah.
Enjoy your weekend, your Thursday, and your weekend.
Yes.
All right. Signing off, Tom Henry and
Josh Berkowitz, take care.
all right, and James too.
Got to